are one person who on every little chat will send me 6-7 hearts. Bless you, bless you, bless you, bless you, and and Meher Baba blessing me, and you won't believe that makes my day. What is practical spirituality, and what is the other form of spirituality?
So, first of all, spirituality is spirituality.
Okay.
By itself. And there's this beautiful quote of Meher Baba which says, spirituality should make man more human. Spirituality engages you in a way that connects you to your true self. Spirituality is not just for books. When those words, wo shabd jo hai, and those words, when infused in our daily life, if we are breathing it into our daily thoughts, words, intentions, and actions, it becomes practical spirituality, lived spirituality. As again, one words to effect Meher Baba's quote that God cannot be explained and lectured about or anything. God has to be lived. Spirituality has to be lived. It has to be experienced, and that's what practical spirituality comes.
When I met Roshni Shehnaz, after a day I realized that why am I calling her Roshni Shehnaz? For me, she's a master, and and when I told her that I want to call you master, she laughed because I think it was guided to me through somewhere, and we are so excited to record her live in Bombay today. Welcome on our show, Master Roshni Shehnaz.
Namaste, and thank you very much for your love, for your respect, support in every way for this journey to spread more love and light, Rashi. I'm so happy and feeling blessed to know you in life, and then, of course, everything that you are doing so amazingly for me and for so many others who are doing their bit in spreading the love and light into the world, which is much more needed every day as we go along.
I would like to, before we start the show, Master, I would like to tell all my listeners and viewers today that you are one person who on every little chat will send me 6-7 hearts. Bless you, bless you, bless you, bless you, and and Meher Baba blessing me, and God bless you, and you won't believe that makes my day. Even a small statement, beta, bacha, you did this, God bless you, God bless. And believe me, nobody does it. And I find it so amazing. Now, your question on this: what is practical spirituality? And what is the other form of spirituality? I want you to tell all our listeners.
So, first of all, spirituality is spirituality.
Okay.
By itself. And there's this beautiful quote of Meher Baba which says, spirituality should make man more human. We think spirituality should make us more spiritual, religion should make us more religious, but actually we become more and more human the more and more spiritual that you are. Spirituality has many misconceptions attached to it, just like many other things in life. And a lot of people think that it is only connected to asceticism, it is connected to long hours of meditating, and it is morose and it is boring. I would say absolutely not. Spirituality engages you in a way that connects you to your true self. The vibrant, the vivacious, the daring, the courageous, the open hearted, the funny, the humorous, anything that you are, it takes you to that core. It allows you to be fearlessly, ferociously who you are, without any guilt, without any qualms, without being consequential about things, and know that that is your birthright. To stand anchored in that core, which is the true you. Practical spirituality is a word that came about while my journey was unfolding. And it meant that spirituality, again, as many have misconceptions, that it is only in the books. Oh, आज के ज़माने में ऐसा थोड़ी होता है. Oh, आज के ज़माने में ये सब नहीं होता है. अरे, people will ride over you and people will do this and it's not easy to be this or be that. But I say no. Spirituality is not just for books. when those words, वो शब्द जो है, and those words, when infused in our daily life, if we are breathing it into our daily thoughts, words, intentions, and actions, it becomes practical spirituality, lived spirituality. As again, one words to effect Meher Baba's quote that God cannot be explained and lectured about or anything. God has to be lived. Spirituality has to be lived. It has to be experienced. And that's what practical spirituality comes. Not by just praying or affirming and doing your affirmations and things half an hour in the morning and half an hour in the night. And then the rest of the 23 hours, you are in either fear or arrogance or ego or pride and living as if there is no tomorrow and there is no karma. So that for me is practical spirituality. That you live by every word that you are trying to believe in life. And then you put it into your intentions, thoughts, words, and actions.
Absolutely beautiful, Master, how you just explained. How did you get to this? What has been your journey?
So, journey in one line, if I have to say, is a 180-degree turnaround from chaos and method in madness to calm, deeper compassion, empathy, and a true joy of living each day by opening my eyes and feeling I am birthed again new today and closing my eyes, not knowing if I'll wake up tomorrow. And being assured that I have tried my level best and ultimately He is the doer of everything that I think, speak, and do. And that's what my day is all about. The journey started from this high-flying, glitzy, glamorous Bollywood 20 plus years that I had. And I was deeply connected to Ganesha all my life as my best friend and celestial support, so to speak, a power that cannot be seen but is present with you. And there wasn't any who am I kind of questions or anything that was there. I did have a life-death illness in 2005, 2006 after the Mumbai floods on 26th of July. And that turned around my life in deeper ways of seeing how from finances to friends to everything can stop block, as we say in filmy language, completely vanish. So it taught me the power of resilience with the uncertainty of life. That we will plan everything. And it is important to plan. Once in Dubai, in a workshop and meditation, one of the girls asked that if everything is destined to be the way it is, then why are we planning and why am I working on myself or doing anything? So I asked the group that, what are you doing after 2 weeks? And they said something. I asked the girl, what are you doing after 3 months? They did something. And everybody spoke till about 6 months. Somebody had a yearly plan to go to their parents, to Europe, to things. And I said, do you know if you're going to wake up tomorrow? And saying, no. And I said, great. But then you did plan that holiday in December. So it is that faith and hope that is intrinsic in our being that makes us plan things ahead of time, even if it is 10 minutes later. So the aspect is that destiny and future are two different things.
Yeah.
Destiny is the sanskaras you've come with, and the future is in your hands. So if the destiny was there for my turnaround, it came about. But the future was in my hands. I could have easily ignored it. Spirituality is good when you have a rich husband, father, and ancestral money behind you, and you say, oh, I will leave it all, and now I will move towards God. That is a different spirituality altogether.
Yeah.
But to do it when you do not know where the next penny is coming from, to do it when I'm in close to 1 crore of debt with a home loan and almost 70 plus lakhs of medical loans and debts.
Oh my God.
And to leave a job just because a voice in your head is telling you to. And first I thought that, okay, it is good when messages are coming for others. But when it started coming to leave my job, it was, oh, I think all those medicines that were pumped into me are acting up now. तो वो कहते हैं ना, थोड़ा खिसक गया है अभी, यहाँ पे पैसे नहीं है, and where to leave the job?
Yeah.
And I fought that for about 2 months or so with this voice constant, leave the job, leave the job. And then one fine day, and it was in May. May is a very critical month with my birthday, with a lot of things connected to Meher Baba as well. And I woke up one day and gave a handwritten resignation, and I said, I will give complete handover. No work will suffer, but I'm not coming from tomorrow. And I left it. And after almost 20 days, it sunk into me that I don't have a job and I don't have money in its literal sense. And then I was guided, I will not get a job, not to apply anywhere. So I really thought that I have gone cuckoo in the head. कि अभी ये तो मतलब, first of all, I don't know. I never had a spiritual guru or this one or that one who at that time I could bounce off to कि ये क्या हो रहा है. I had physical things happening to me, for 1.5 years I would wake up every single day, or rather say woken up every single day at 3:30 in the morning without an alarm or without anything. I would just stark wake up. I could feel somebody waking me up every day, and then I would sit blank. I'd never meditated in life, ever before. I was not the kind of running behind any spiritual books or wanting to know answers in life at all. I was very happy winning the Filmfare in some point of time in life, making a film and going to the Cannes Festival. And I was at the peak of my career. So it wasn't that, oh, you are in a whimper and so now you're thinking, let me turn spiritual, So that's how it was, that divinity made me move out at the peak turning point of my life and shifted my gears towards this vehicle moving towards God. And that's why I often call this, as once it had come in meditation, the journey from glamour to God.
God. True.
And that's what God has done. While I was busy making my film script and wanting to go to film stars to direct it, God was changing my film script. वो वहाँ पे बैठ के
But Master, tell me something, You're saying it the easy way today, after years now. When when that voice forced you to leave everything, did the industry people, the stars you were working and shooting, didn't say कि ये पागल हो गई है, क्यों कर रही है? They didn't come and ask you?
Nobody, because by that time, from 2005, actually my opening up of my spiritual gifts and other things started in about 2009.
Okay.
So it wasn't something that was immediate as such, that after my life, death, illness, I came out and things were different. But things were different in a way that I shut down. I stopped going a lot for events. Otherwise, I was a person for 18 years, every single day, partying, this event, this Muhurat, this music launch, this one's birthday, this one's anniversary, this launch. So it was like a, widespread buffet every single day of life. And from there, it was that I started choosing. And choosing unconsciously. So I was not literally logically choosing. And I didn't realize it at that time. But I wouldn't want to go. I didn't want to go to the party places. I couldn't take loud noises suddenly. And I could see through people a little more deeply than I did earlier. And I was always a very spade is a spade person. And I was often called use diplomacy, which I couldn't. In other words, diplomacy would be a different aspect of yes sir, no sir, and kind of a thing, and which I could never do. And I could speak to the biggest of the people in the industry what I thought was not rudely or anything, but to put forth my cards. And I never believed that I had to suppress or I had to compromise or anything of that sort. And a lot of times when people would say, even while being in the industry, oh, this industry is bad and this and that, I would always say that no, the industry is not bad because life is a mirror. And I was not in spirituality that time or anything. That the way you are, life will mirror back at you. And it has been God's grace that even though parting every single day, Rashi, there has been not a single moment where anybody could peer pressure wise force me or compel me to try drinking, smoking, or even try a puff or anything. I've danced my way out for 7 hours in a nightclub after a hard day's shoot just on plain water glasses and still look the most zonged out in all the pictures. So I would always say I'm high on life, and that's exactly what I was all my life, all through. And from there to turn around to this calm, it wasn't difficult. I had a lot of internal healing that was required when all this was going on. And today, everything that I do as sessions, they are not off the shelf recordings or anything. They are dictations that I've got for myself to remove all my kachra and garbage from childhood, from my previous life sanskaras that I had brought in, and everything that would be dictated every day that I woke up at that 3:30 a.m. I have got almost 5-6 books with things written in it, and I would write every single day whatever was coming because I did not know what was happening. But I was just guided right and I just wrote. But there was a power holding me which gave me the courage to believe. Because also that we all have different clairs, as we call. Some can see, some can listen, some can hear voices. And cognizance is the most difficult one because you only have a dictation in the head. And it's the most difficult to believe because you're not literally hearing anything. Even if you're literally hearing something, then you'll say, oh, I heard the voice.
Yeah, true.
Or if you see a vision, you will say, oh, I saw this vision. But when you just have a straight on dictation, do this, do that, ask this person to do this, tell this person to go to the doctor, it is very arbit. But there was a strong force holding me and making me believe that. That's bigger grace, is
Yeah,
what I would
true.
call. That even today, not just then, even today, there are a whole lot of people think that I'm mad. That I left a thriving career.
Oh.
And what is all this nonsense you came into? There are others who have moved from she's mad to, oh, there is something happening,
Yeah.
and turned around. But there are yet, and in one or two of my videos also I had mentioned that when I used to write all these positive things on my Facebook and all, initially I was in the closet because I wanted to work in the film industry. You know, I did not know that there was a path ahead.
Yeah.
In 2009, 2010, nobody knew that there is some profession connected to this. You know, I was just flowing as, you know, wherever the water took me. And at that point in time, to take a decision of leaving everything was itself madness for me as well. Because I had so many debts to give, for which ultimately I had to sell my house and get. But what came once in my meditation was that today the redevelopment that you see happening in Mumbai, especially with all old buildings getting into new towers, it came with that analogy. That when a building has to go into redevelopment, the dilapidated structure has to be completely broken down.
Yes.
And not just broken down, the entire debris has to be removed and cleaned, and then again, whatever, 50, 100 feet down, you have to dig a new foundation. You have to lay the new rods, the new foundational slabs, and then the Tower of Life will come up. And that's exactly what has happened with you. The old dilapidated structure had to go. And this new had to be born.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Master, you work with everyone. Okay, lawyers, doctors, students, corporate employees. How do you tailor your approach?
So the approach is that one stick doesn't apply to all animals.
Yeah.
You know, एक ही
Wonderful.
लकड़ी से सबको नहीं हाँक सकते
हाँ.
is the thing. And that's how it molded when I started getting my, I would say, meditative knowledge
Okay.
or channeled knowledge about creating workshops. First, it happened with my practitioner workshops of helping people to open up their own gifts. Nobody is literally special or so, bacha. Everybody has got these gifts. It's just that our sanskaras and our programming in a particular birth has decided that the lid will be open or the lid will be shut. And if the lid is shut, then till what time will it be shut, even if it has to? So for me, it was late 30s that the lid opened up, for example. So we all have ordained different things. So the approach was that with each corporate or anyone that I am doing the workshops with, or mentoring packages that we do for people who may require long running, hand holding with several sessions and not just a one off session of healing or two. So with that, it is to take the entire history and download.
Okay.
So even with a corporate, I take on as to what are their needs, what are the gaps that they want to fill in.
True.
And then I take the assistance of my spiritual guidance, which is not a part. I don't take on the spiritual aspect of it in its primary factor in any of my corporate and other workshops.
Okay.
Because it requires a different thing. And practical spirituality means being practical with the approach as well.
Yes.
That I cannot give a necklace to the monkey and talk about how expensive the diamonds are. So the approach is to tailor what is required by that corporate for the well-being of their employees, for the vision and mission of that corporate house, for the founder, and so on. And then tailor make that approach for the employees to be in alignment with their vision. And to begin with, be in alignment with themselves. Why are they there? What are they contributing to the company? And then to optimize that potential, to optimize those talents, those gifts of human resource. And human is not a resource, I would say. Human is a gift.
Yeah.
And when you allow people to optimize their gifts, then you can turn around your company to sky's not the limit heights.
Let's talk about some intense environments. You work with a lot of prisoners, a lot of kids who are into the juvenile homes. What are those workshops and what is that work all about?
So that is at a very naive stage right now, I would say. It has been in the planning when it was first guided in about 2014-15.
Okay.
And I've been trying my way out. And I always know that is another part of surrendering to the higher power. That I may be guided about something, but it will transpire in its own divine timing. And I will not be digging the soil every day to see how much the seed has grown.
Yeah. True.
And to allow the how and the when to unfold and unravel itself. So then in about 2018 or so, I shared it with a very dear friend as well. And then we went about registering that concept
Okay.
through my NGO, actually, Meher Roshni Foundation. And it is copyrighted as R2R, RTR, in its sense of right to reform. That every human being has the right to reform and to gauge. And it's not something, at that time, I didn't know that in some places it was already happening. That when I started researching, I came to know that at the Agripada prison, there has been a jailer who has been giving roses to the prisoners on their birthdays.
Okay.
So it could sound very simple and sound silly to many people, but that is not. Every single step towards reform and goodness is a step. Every वो कहते हैं ना बूंद बूंद से सागर बनता है.
जी.
और वही है that everything that I do in my daily life is creating a seed in the collective consciousness and also in my karmic kitty. So it helps us to know, and it is not very easy.
I'm sure.
It is not very easy. I would say, I wouldn't even put that word easy. It is extremely critical because you are dealing with a different kind of DNA altogether.
Of course. Very sensitive.
Very, very sensitive and very, very uncertain as well, because you do not know how they would take it and all. So from the spiritual side, that comes in help. Because I do spiritual guidance and I can connect with the soul energy, I can get guidance before even I approach that person who I have to talk to.
Oh,
So, from their name, from their date of birth, even if I don't have their date of birth, approximate age, there are so many times I might just have a name and I would ask the person, is this person between 40, 45? Kind of say, हाँ, लगता है. That should be the age, even if they don't know the exact date of birth.
so the angels guide you?
So, yes. So, for me, my whole and soul in my life, my every breath is Avatar Meher Baba.
Okay.
And all the guidance that opened up as far as the angel guidance, we all have angels. So for me, my deeper connect and source is him. And for what goes out from me is the divine guidance for each and every one as per their guardian angels and archangels and the divine task force, which is of God by itself. And it is through the angels that the guidance is received for the person's blueprint.
I'd like to cut you here, Master. Now, there are a lot of reels going on, a lot of videos coming on the Instagram and other places where they speak up a lot about, this side of spirituality. Face reading, people coming and saying, wo koi pisach yog and all that. What is your take on that? How true is it?
So, there are several things that are there and will be there more and more. So, when I started off, I was guided that besides what is opening up, I need to do a Reiki workshop at that time.
Okay.
And my very, very close childhood friend happened to be a facilitator and teacher. And I did my Reiki masters with her.
Okay.
And I was guided that you will never be lured. There are thousands of modalities and things. I didn't even know what modality is at that time.
Yeah.
There are thousands of modalities and things that will open up for humanity, and you will not get lured and sucked into it. You will only live by the knowledge that is opening up and gifted to you from time to time. Even when after a few years, one fine day, I had some names coming up and I didn't know what that was. So I wrote it down. I didn't do anything with that. Then again, after a few months, I was kind of nudged towards those. And then I typed those names and they happened to be names of Bach flowers. I'd never heard what Bach flower is or anything. And when it came also, and I said, what is this crab apple? What is this So I thought it was funny because I've left non-veg, in life now. And what is this crab apple? Or, one or two other names that had come. So that is how divinity was unfolding things to me. And when I wrote it for my website at that time, not the Bach flower, but when I was making my website of what divine guidance or angel guidance is, it came up that it is staple diet for your life.
Oh.
Divinity knows how much you can eat, how much you can chew, when you can chew, how much you can digest, and how much you can implement that. And only that much will be given to you at that time. So a lot of times when people come for guidance and all, they are told, don't ask this right now. And it is not just predictionary guidance of something happening. It is deeper guidance as to why you've manifested this. Why in your life this has happened. And why in your life this is not happening. And what has contributed in your energy. What are the mindset changes, lifestyle changes, practical changes that you need to make, or spiritual changes that you need to make for this thing to resurrect or for this thing to heal.
Master, when we talk about healings, this is my personal experience and I want to tell all my viewers, I was really unwell. And Master in Bombay and me in Delhi, she just sent me the healing on the phone in a written manner and told me to just recite it. I think a number of times you told me that you do this every day for 21 days. And believe me so, I got better. Now, honestly, I never believed in all these things. But after doing this, I do believe that affirmations and, healing उसको हम अपने धर्म में बोलेंगे श्लोकाज हैं या एफर्मेशंस हैं या जो भी आप हीलिंग्स भेजते हो हमें, ये वर्क तो करती हैं। देखो मास्टर, इसके बिना तो कोई काम ही नहीं है। अब मेरे को ये चीज़ का विश्वास हो चुका है। बट व्हेन वी टॉक अबाउट द कॉर्पोरेट वर्ल्ड, ओके, वी टॉक अबाउट लीडरशिप नाउ, as per you, how spirituality and the correct way of, practical spirituality, being holistic, can help you become a great leader or manage a great team? Let's hear that.
I have this workshop called Spiritual Toolkit for Entrepreneurs and Leaders,
Oh, wow.
and another one called Holistic Conscious Leadership.
Okay.
Now, in that, there are various parts whereby, as I said, that there are a lot of misconceptions about spirituality, firstly. So, spirituality is that unseen core that sweetens life. Once you put sugar in the milk, the sugar is not seen, but it is there.
Yeah, true.
And it is the driving force of that sweetness in that whole glass. Right? So that's how spirituality is when infused into daily life. For entrepreneurs and for leaders to be conscious leaders, and consciousness means awareness. So there is this difference. Somebody once said that I'm slightly enlightened. No, you cannot be slightly enlightened.
Yeah.
Enlightenment is a point.
Yeah.
It's there or it's not there.
Yeah.
You can be slightly aware, more conscious, and more conscious. So there was this beautiful analogy of how there is a dimmer, and the dimmer from zero is moved up. And with awareness, the consciousness grows brighter and brighter and brighter. And there is that one end point when it is at its optimal brightest. That is enlightenment.
Beautiful.
But for the conscious leader to be more humane, to be more understanding, to be more resilient, to understand the balance between the head and the heart, between spiritual wisdom, which is thriving inside of each person, and merging it with pragmatic solutions on the outside, putting it into place in order so that it can be given. If I have to make a 1-year-old child eat, I'm not giving him the dal chawal that I eat. You are giving mashed potato, you are, mashing up the rice and giving it.
Yeah.
And that's how it is. That when you become a conscious leader, you know how to deal and feel everyone and everything around you.
True.
You understand the underlying truth of matters. You may need to reprimand someone, but you're doing it from a spiritual standpoint.
Yeah.
You're not doing it with the anger of vengeance and anger of frustration and irritation. So, as conscious leaders and conscious entrepreneurs, the first part is to create a connection with ourselves, to become a spectator for ourselves. And there are a whole lot of things in small practical, practices that we can do every day that can enhance that part of us, that can enhance our intuition, that can enhance our tenacity towards things, that can enhance our perseverance towards things.
And they are?
So certain practices of contemplation, meditation, yoga, and there are different things. Each can resonate with something different. Chanting, it may not be, as I said, एक ही लकड़ी से सबको नहीं हाँक सकते. The same way, our soul connects with different practices. So whether you want to do affirmations or chanting or meditation or just quiet yourself and, sit. And meditation is not about blanking the mind and completely. No, you cannot have zero thoughts until you are in that nirvana point. So not to even try that. These are all, unnecessary jargon that has been pumped in through the influx of our social media and internet and all of that. Simple meditation is an everyday life. You're just reprogramming your body to come back to its anchored, centralized, aligned core.
Yeah, true. What is this energy-based logos? I've never heard this before.
So, You create logos.
Okay.
Now, again, there's this beautiful thing that nothing goes a waste in life.
Yeah.
You know, anything that you learn. So first, when this was shifted, first few months and over a year, I was like, what is all this happening? Why is all this happening and opening up, you know? And if this is the path, then why didn't it happen before?
Yeah.
23 years doing something so passionately, and now life is just changing gears. Why did God not change this a little before, you know? And who in the sane mind will come to me for spiritual guidance when I've partied like, you know, nobody's
Yeah.
business for so many years? And there were so many such questions. And it came that nobody's gifts are ever unused
Yeah.
or not attended to. And that a question came up that when you bought your car, do you look after the car or car looks after itself?
We look after the car.
We look after the car. And that's what I answered in to that voice. And said, if you look after the car, if you are God's vehicle, He will look after you.
Wonderful.
All the upkeep and the oiling and the fuel and everything, God will take care.
Yeah.
And a driver never knows the next passenger, and the passenger doesn't know which driver will come along.
Yeah.
So when anybody is healing, guidance, learning, and transformation is due, and it is due from you, you will be taken to them or they will be brought to you wherever you may be. And that sentence stopped all questions that I ever had pounding in my head about where this path is going. And energy is the life force, how you and me are sitting here today.
Yeah.
You may not believe in God, fine. You may not believe in higher power, these, that words. Leave aside everything esoteric. You believe that this just about 5 feet is existing, waking up every day, doing things. That's good enough to begin with. And that is energy. And energy is driving everything around us. We are chalta firta electromagnetic fields.
Yeah.
So energy logos is that I'm creating. So as an artist, I did a lot of art and I used to, of course, earlier paint and do a lot of things. So this came about in 2015, you know, just around the time before my book got out into the world. And it came that normal creativity is there, that you've created this
Yeah.
logo and all. Now, when I take your date of birth and your name,
Okay.
and then I seek guidance on what colors and what formations within the life's art that, you know, is there into that universe is going to enhance what you are going to give into the world. Whatever your product, your services, or anything that may be, when that energy goes based on the founder or the driver of the company or the driver of the product or the department or whatever that may be, those kind of details are combined and then an energy logo is created out of the colors and the dynamics that are guided, and options are given to the client
Wow.
to choose from.
I would like to tell all my viewers to get in touch with Master Roshni Shahnaaz for this, because this is something new. You know, because all the spiritual masters out there might not be indulging in this, honestly. And this is a very special message that we are getting from this podcast today. And Master, how do you clean yourself? Because I'm sure you would be dealing with a lot of negative energies also all the time. Hearing all the sobbing, hearing all the bad things people are going through. How do you keep yourself pure and clean?
So earlier, a few years down the line when I started, there was this thing of hearing from other people, no, I cannot handle this, so I cannot do this, and I'm stopping to do this, or I'm stopping to do the counseling or things like that. And my thing was only that when you are a light bearer, when you want to work from your inner light and therefore you become a light worker. Light worker is not this woo healing people. Light worker is you. Yeah. You are working from your inner light to shine the light of others into the world. Mm. You are the loudspeaker for everybody else, for their voices to be heard into the world. So you are a light worker as well. And doctor ko bimari milne aate hain.
Good one.
When you're Tandurus, hey doc, what you doing? Hi, what's up? Nobody's doing that, right? So of course, people who are needing a way out from the thick, dark forest of life, they are going to come to you. And everyday work, another analogy that was gifted to me was that you will only do your practical work daily. That means my practical thoughts, words, and actions that I do every day to keep this pipe clean. Because neither you are the source, the water is not coming from you, neither you are the end receiver.
Yeah.
You are only a facilitator.
Okay.
The water is coming from the main line somewhere.
Yeah.
It's passing through you and getting into the hands of the person who is receiving it.
Beautiful.
Now, however pristine that water is from the main line, if the tap is contaminated, the receiver will only get contaminated water. So, your duty only will be to take care of intentions that you intend, thoughts that you think, words that you speak, and actions that you do.
Wonderful.
Nothing else is in your control. And for that also, my cleansing is I give that control to him. I pray to Baba every day that in this circus of life, it is easy to slip. It is
Very
easy to get into the wrong, the ego, the aggressiveness, or the sadness very, very fast. You do this work. You help me to be cleansed in your love every day, so that this tap remains clean only and only where you can exist.
Beautiful. Master, what are your future plans now?
So, as I said, I live each day, though I put into planning whatever is guided to me. So, in 2016, I got the fortunate opportunity to be as a keynote speaker at the UN CIFA in France, Monaco.
Wow.
And it is a financial convention with over 150 members of financial industry worldwide, globally, under the UN, sitting over there. And it was spirituality in workplace. And everybody in the 3-day convention thought, what is a spiritual person doing? What has it got to do? And the first question that I opened up to everyone is, can you create a skyscraper from the top down? Obvious answer is no. So laying of the foundation of life is to breathe in spirituality into your standpoint. And the future plans that are guided is that I want to reach all change makers and corporate heads, because change from top down is required, not the change from the grassroots. That is already happening in several ways. But the change from top down, when the top down governing the entire downline and the workforce is operating from a spiritual standpoint, it will be a different company. I can write in anything on a blank paper and give you for that.
True.
So it is that. The other part of what is guided is a wellness retreat that is in the making, and that is in the happening and at its planning stages.
Very nice.
So Baba's grace as and how it will unfold.
Of course it will. Okay.
And several other things in working with individuals.
Your new podcast show is coming up.
Yes, Conscious Living.
Conscious Living.
And our other one, Love and Live God, by the words of Avatar Meher Baba, is already ongoing. And also the Right to Reform, the Prisoner Project. And I would like to connect with the government and work at a more deeper level at this program and see what we can do. And we can only do, as I said, from the thing. It is not attaching yourself to the outcomes and the number game. And God has helped me again that never put me on this number game. How many likes? Today also, if you go on my Facebook, Instagram has a certain momentum. But if you go on my Facebook, you may see 4,000, some 5,000 friends, but you may see only 20 likes, 5 likes, or no likes. But the aspect is that God gave me the courage to show up every day. And in these 15 years, every single day to put out the channeled messages, videos, or anything that has been happening, and to single-handedly being able to do that. can only and only be with grace.
Yeah, of course. I totally agree with you. Okay, so Master, what is your one universal message for humanity?
To bring in love and wisdom into life. We need to pray for wisdom. It is a lack of wisdom that is doing things that is going on around us. And the message is that we are striving every day to change the world when we cannot and we need not.
Yeah.
The only point of change in the universe is I, me, myself. And if I put all my attention and focus to change this self, then a lot of things around me and towards me will change.
Yeah. Nice. Okay, let's do your funny rapid fire now, Master. What is one daily ritual you never skip?
My praying and chanting to Baba.
Okay. Yeah, and your go-to spiritual tool.
Meher Baba.
Okay, nice. What's the first thing you do before entering a new space for energy cleansing?
Baba.
Put him first.
Yes, put him first.
Okay. If you weren't a spiritual guide, what would you be doing?
Filmmaker.
Films. Yeah. Okay, a quote or a mantra you live by every single day.
Good, there are quite a lot, but there are several. But I would say this quote from Baba, that in the world of spirituality, humility counts as much as utility.
Beautiful.
Words to effect, it's a longer quote, but that, humility is so very important. And when you say I'm humble, then you're not humble.
Yeah.
It's a seamless part, but one can only, as I say, and I put this hashtag a lot often at times, dust in progress.
Yeah.
That one needs to become dust at his feet and to every day just seek his grace and love and strength and courage to do that which pleases him and for him to operate through this vehicle in whatever way that he deems fit, and to be there for whoever is brought to me, and to be able to live this life and allow my gifts to be of utilization to whoever he has ordained to give it to.
I love this, Master. Dust in progress. And I think this is going to stick with me now because this is something beyond even imagination how you've put it across to the public out there. And only, I think it is the guidance that has come through this podcast. Believe me so. And I have no words. I'm so thankful to you, Master Roshni Shehnaz, for being on our show. It's a beautiful podcast and some great takeaways from this podcast. Last word for us, Master.
Can we do some chanting?
Of course we can. Yes.
Yes.
Let's do that. Yeah.
Okay. Loka samastha sukhino bhavantu. Loka samastha sukhino bhavantu. Loka samastha sukhino bhavantu. May all beings across the world be happy, abundant, and in peace. So be it, so be it, so be it. सच्चिदानंद परमानंद मेहर बाबा विज्ञानंद. सच्चिदानंद परमानंद मेहर बाबा विज्ञानंद. मेहर बाबा विज्ञानंद, मेहर बाबा विज्ञानंद, सच्चिदानंद परमानंद, मेहर बाबा विज्ञानंद। अवतार मेहर बाबा की जय।
Absolutely beautiful, Master Roshni Shehnaz. And thank you once again for being on our show.
Thank you so much for having me, and thank you so much to all the listeners. Thank you, and lots of love, blessings of wisdom, protection, health, and happiness in God's speed to everyone. Namaste.